At the end of the previous video, you saw that in order to log out of the store, I needed to actually inspect the page and delete the header element because the logout button was hidden behind it. This is because the Django AllAuth templates don't have the correct padding on them, and also they haven't been styled to match the rest of the site yet. In this video, we'll customize these templates and then begin integrating user profiles throughout the application. First, let's see what we're working with. This is what we've currently got on the login page, for example. Now take a look in the AllAuth directory inside our project level templates folder. You'll see here that AllAuth actually has its own base template with a content block just like ours. Then inside the accounts folder, there's another base template which extends it. So what happens here is this one extends the main AllAuth base, and then login, for example, extends the base inside the account folder. You'll see login has its own content block, which will be passed through to the main AllAuth base template to replace that block. We want all these templates in the account folder to take on our own styling, so an easy way to do that is to modify the base template they all extend. Instead of just passing their content blocks right through to the main AllAuth base template, let's instead wrap them in our own markup and just adjust the names of the blocks. Here's an example. In the account folder's base.html, I'll open a new block called content. This is going to replace the main AllAuth base template's content block. And inside it, I'll add our header container, which has the proper padding, the overlay to make the background white, and then a row and a 50% width column. Inside the column, I'll create a div with a class of AllAuth form inner content. The issue with this is that this block is now called content, which means the login template's content block will just replace it, so the change won't have any effect. However, if we were to rename the login template's content block to something else, we could stick it inside this div instead. I'll open a new block here called inner content, and then move to the login template and rename its content block to inner content. Now if I go back to the site, you can see the login template's inner content block has replaced the inner content block in the account folder's base.html, while that file's block called content has replaced the content block in the main base.html. We'll do the same thing to every other template in this folder, but first let's make some other changes to the login template. First, we can use crispy forms to render the form instead of rendering it as a paragraph. Then I'll adjust the header slightly by making it an h2, giving it our own classes, and adding a couple horizontal rules around it. And finally at the bottom, I'll add a home button. Wrap the forgot password link in a paragraph, and move it down to the bottom. This looks pretty good, but we'll need to add some CSS in a little while to finish it up. In the meantime, let's make the same changes on every other template in the account folder. I'll replace all the headers to match the one in the login template, Anywhere there's a content block, I'll replace it with inner content, render all the forms that are currently form.asp with crispy forms, and add home or back buttons where appropriate.